2:47 a.m. My phone lit up the dark bedroom like a flashbang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something, instinct maybe, made me reach for it. Hello? The room was silent except for the soft hum of the ceiling fan, but on the other end of the line I heard loud music pounding and voices shouting somewhere in the background. Then came heavy breathing, uneven and sloppy, like someone who had been drinking for hours. Then a voice spoke, thick and slurred, but filled with arrogant confidence. Is this Nathan? Yeah, I said slowly, sitting up in bed. Who's this? A laugh exploded through the phone. Not friendly, not casual. It was sharp, mocking, the kind of laugh meant to cut. This is Richard Castellano, your wife's boss. I froze where I sat. My wife, Emma, was supposed to be at a team building retreat in Denver. She had left early Friday morning, suitcase packed and schedule full of meetings and corporate bonding nonsense. It was now Sunday night, technically early Monday morning, almost 3 days since she had walked out the door. Okay, I said carefully, forcing my voice to stay level. Is Emma all right? Another laugh erupted, louder this time, echoing with drunken amusement. Emma? Oh yeah, Emma's perfect. He dragged out the word like he was savoring it. She's right here, actually, sleeping like an angel. My blood turned to ice. What? You heard me, he said, his voice lowering as if he was leaning closer to the phone. You know she's mine, right? I mean, you know that, don't you? For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I mean, sure, she goes home to you, he continued, stumbling over his own words, clearly drunk but determined to brag. But she's mine. She told me that herself. Said you're, what was the word she used? Oh yeah, safe. That's the word she used. Safe. Something inside my head snapped into perfect focus. My hands stopped shaking. I slowly pulled the phone away from my ear, opened the voice memo app, and pressed record. Then I placed the phone on the nightstand beside me. Richard, I said calmly, my voice steady in a way that surprised even me. Say that again. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. And he did. For the next 4 minutes and 37 seconds, Richard Castellano, Vice President of Sales at Meridian Tech, married father of 3, respected businessman in the Denver corporate scene, completely destroyed his own life without realizing it. He told me everything. He talked about how long it had been happening. 6 months, he said proudly, like he was announcing a personal achievement. He listed places they had been together, his mountain cabin, hotels downtown, business trips that weren't actually business trips, a weekend in Scottsdale that Emma had told me was a professional conference. He repeated things Emma had said about me. She says you're safe, man. That's the word she uses, safe, like a backup plan, like the guy she keeps around because he's reliable. He laughed again. Said you'd never leave her, said you're too comfortable with your life. Every sentence felt like a blade sliding under my ribs, but I stayed silent. I didn't interrupt him. I didn't yell. I didn't react. I just let him talk. The more he bragged, the more information he handed over. He told me about the cabin where they had spent the weekend, about the wine they drank, about how she was sleeping right now in his bed upstairs after what he proudly described as a long night. She's sleeping right now in my bed, he said, his voice thick with drunken pride. Wore her out. He thought he was humiliating me. He thought he was winning some twisted competition. What he didn't realize was that he was building the evidence that would destroy him piece by piece. Eventually, his tone shifted slightly, the alcohol making him more cautious. You're not going to do anything crazy, right? He asked suddenly. No, I said calmly. Good, because it's not personal, man. It's just, she's incredible, and you're, well, you know. I know, I replied quietly. Then the call ended. The line went dead. I sat there in the darkness, the glow of the phone screen illuminating the room. The recording was saved. 4 minutes and 37 seconds of pure, undeniable proof. And for the first time in months, I smiled. If you want to know what I did with that recording and how it cost him everything, hit subscribe, because what happened next didn't just end his career, it ended his marriage, his reputation, and his freedom. This is the story of how one drunk phone call destroyed a man who thought he was untouchable. My name is Nathan Pierce. I'm 38 years old and I live in Boulder, Colorado. I'm a software engineer. Most days, I work from home writing code for a cybersecurity company that most people have never even heard of. I'm not flashy. I don't drive a sports car. I don't wear expensive clothes or post pictures of luxury vacations online. Most days, I'm just the quiet guy sitting in the corner of a coffee shop, wearing a hoodie, headphones on, laptop open, typing away. My wife Emma is the exact opposite.
Emma is 36 years old and works as a senior account manager at Meridian Tech, one of the fastest-growing SaaS companies in Denver. She's ambitious in a way that draws attention the moment she enters a room. She's the type of person who wakes up early for networking breakfasts and ends the day closing deals over cocktails with clients. She lives in spreadsheets, quarterly forecasts, and revenue targets, power suits, high heels, conference calls. For 10 years, I believed we balanced each other perfectly. I was the calm one. She was the fire. I was stability. She was excitement. I thought I was the foundation that kept our life grounded while she chased bigger dreams. Turns out, I was just the safety net she kept underneath her while she jumped from one thrill to the next. The warning signs started about 8 months ago. Late nights at work slowly became even later nights. Client dinners turned into entire evenings where she wouldn't come home until midnight or later. Her phone, which used to sit openly on the kitchen counter, started disappearing into her purse. Always face down, always on silent. She started dressing differently too. Not for me. If I complimented a new outfit, she'd barely react. But before work meetings, she would spend an hour carefully choosing what to wear, adjusting her makeup, checking herself in the mirror like she was preparing for an audience. And then there was Richard Castellano, Vice President of Sales. Mid-40s, perfect silver hair, expensive suits that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage payment. The kind of executive who casually talks about Peloton statistics and Tesla upgrades, like their personality traits. Emma mentioned him constantly. Richard thinks we should pivot our Q3 strategy. Richard believes relationship building is the key to enterprise sales. Richard invited the team to his cabin in Vail for a strategy retreat. At first, I didn't think much of it. Emma had always talked about work a lot. But eventually, I noticed something. Whenever she said his name, her voice changed. It softened slightly, like she was talking about someone she admired. No, someone she wanted to impress. 3 months ago, I started paying closer attention. I'm a software engineer. Pattern recognition is literally what I do for a living. When something doesn't make sense, I analyze it until it does. And the patterns were everywhere. Emma's late nights lined up perfectly with Richard's social media check-ins at bars and restaurants. Her weekend work sessions matched his out-of-office replies. One Friday, she told me she needed to stay late at the office to finish a proposal. That night, I checked her laptop after she went to bed. She had left it open on the kitchen table. Her calendar was visible on the screen. No meetings, no deadlines. Just a single block of time labeled our dinner. Richard. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I did what I do best. I gathered data. I'm not proud of it, but I reactivated a family location app we had used years earlier when we used to go hiking together. It had never been deleted from our phones, just forgotten. Once it was active again, I could see exactly where she was. And the data told a story. Late nights at the office were actually late nights at a bar called The Nickel in downtown Denver. Client dinners happened at restaurants she had never mentioned before. And twice her phone location appeared at the Ritz-Carlton downtown, for hours in the middle of the afternoon. I took screenshots, saved them, organized them by date. I didn't confront her, not argue. I simply watched the evidence pile up, like snow collecting before an avalanche. 2 weeks ago, Emma told me about the retreat. It's a team-building thing, she said while packing a suitcase Thursday night. Richard's idea, 3 days in Denver. Strategy sessions, trust exercises, all that corporate bonding nonsense. Sounds exciting, I said, without looking up from my laptop. It's mandatory. Everyone on the sales team has to attend. When do you leave? Tomorrow morning. I'll be back Sunday night. She leaned down and kissed the top of my head. Routine. Automatic. Love you. Love you too, I replied. She left Friday morning at 6. I tracked her phone. She never went to Denver. She went straight to Vail. to Richard's cabin. That weekend, I experienced a strange kind of emotional numbness. I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I didn't drink. I worked. I gathered every piece of evidence I had collected. Screenshots, timestamps, credit card statements from our joint account showing hotel charges and expensive restaurant bills. I organized everything neatly into a folder, labeled it, backed it up in 3 separate places. Then I called a lawyer. Her name was Monica Reeves. People described her as a shark in a blazer. We met Saturday afternoon at a coffee shop in Boulder. I slid the folder across the table. She opened it and started reading. Her eyebrows slowly rose higher. "This is thorough." I nodded. "I'm thorough." She looked at me carefully. "You're also very calm. Most people in your position are emotional disasters." I shrugged slightly. "I'll fall apart later. Right now, I just need to know my options." She explained everything clearly. Colorado is a no-fault divorce state, but adultery still matters when it comes to asset division and alimony. If she used marital funds during the affair, hotels, trips, gifts, that's considered dissipation of assets. The courts don't like that. I can prove it. Good.
She closed the folder. "Here's what we do. You don't confront her yet. Let her believe everything is normal. Meanwhile, we file the paperwork and prepare our case. And then we show her exactly what she's about to lose." I hired her immediately. Sunday night, I was lying in bed pretending to sleep when my phone rang. 2:47 a.m. Unknown number. My heart started pounding. Then I answered. "Hello?" Heavy breathing. Music. Voices shouting somewhere in the background. "Is this Nathan?" "Yeah. Who's this?" "This is Richard. Richard Castellano, your wife's boss." My stomach dropped, but I forced my voice to remain calm. "Okay. Is Emma all right?" A cruel, drunken laugh exploded through the phone. "Emma? Oh, Emma's perfect." And then he said the words, "You know she's mine, right?" I quietly pulled the phone away from my ear, opened the voice memo app, pressed record, then put him on speaker. "Richard," I said slowly, "say that again. I want to make sure I heard you right." And he did. For the next 4 minutes and 37 seconds, Richard Castellano buried himself. He admitted everything. He said the affair had been going on for 6 months. He listed every place they had been together. His cabin, hotels, a weekend in Scottsdale she had told you was a conference. He repeated what Emma had said about me. "She says you're safe." That's the word, safe, like a backup plan. He laughed. "She said you'd never leave her, that you're too comfortable." Every word cut deep. But I stayed quiet. I let him talk. He bragged about the weekend they'd just spent together. "She's sleeping right now, in my bed. Wore her out." He believed he was humiliating me. He had no idea he was giving me the evidence I needed. Eventually, his voice lowered slightly. "You're not gonna, do anything crazy, are you?" "No," I said calmly. Good. Because it's not personal, man. It's just, she's incredible, and you're, well, you know." "I know." Then he hung up. I sat in the darkness holding my phone, the recording saved, and I smiled. The next morning, I sent the audio file to Monica. She called me 10 minutes later. "Nathan, this is a gift." "I know." He admitted to adultery. He admitted to using company resources, his cabin, business trips. He just implicated himself in serious workplace misconduct. What do I do with it? First, we use it in the divorce case. This proves adultery and misuse of marital funds. And second, she paused. Second, you could completely destroy him. How? Send it to his wife. Send it to his company's HR department. Send it to the board of directors. Richard Castellano is a VP at a publicly traded company. If this recording becomes public, he's finished. I sat there quietly for a moment thinking about it. "Let me sit on it," I finally said. "I want to do this right." Smart. Don't act out of anger. Act strategically. I hung up and stared at the ceiling. Richard thought I was safe, comfortable, too weak to fight back.
He was about to learn how wrong he was. Emma came home Sunday night around 9 p.m. She walked in with her suitcase, looking tired but relaxed. "Hey," she said, dropping her bag by the door. "How was your weekend?" "Quiet," I said. "How was the retreat?" "Exhausting, lots of trust falls and icebreakers." She rolled her eyes. "Corporate nonsense." She went to the kitchen, poured a glass of wine, and started telling me about the sessions they'd done. I listened, nodded, smiled, and said nothing. She had no idea. The next morning, I filed for divorce. Monica had the papers drawn up over the weekend. We filed electronically Monday at 9 a.m. By 10 a.m., a process server was on his way to Emma's office. I went about my day, answered emails, wrote code, made lunch. At 2:30 p.m., my phone rang. "Emma, what the—" "Nathan." I put her on speaker. "Hey, what's up?" "Don't what's up me. I just got served with divorce papers at work in front of my entire team." "Oh, yeah, sorry about the timing." "Sorry about the—" "Are you insane? What is this?" "It's a divorce petition." "I can see that. Why?" I paused, let the silence stretch. "Because you've been sleeping with your boss for 6 months." The line went dead quiet. I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." "Nathan, I think you're confused. I have evidence, Emma. Photos, timestamps, credit card statements, and a recording. A recording of Richard calling me at 2 a.m. Sunday night drunk, telling me everything." I could hear her breathing fast, panicked. "You're bluffing." "I'm not." Another pause. "I'm coming home. We need to talk." "No," I said, "we don't. Talk to your lawyer." I hung up. She showed up anyway. I heard her car in the driveway 20 minutes later. The front door slammed open. "Nathan." I was in the living room, laptop open, headphones on. I took them off slowly. I said, "Talk to your lawyer." "I'm not talking to a lawyer, I'm talking to you." She was crying, mascara running. The polished, powerful Emma was gone. This was raw panic. "How could you do this?" she sobbed. "How could you just file for divorce without even talking to me?" "I tried talking to you," I said calmly. "For months. You were too busy f***ing your boss." She flinched. It wasn't like that." "What was it like?" "It was a mistake, a stupid mistake. I was confused, and Richard he was paying attention to me, and you weren't. You were always working. You were always in your own world. I was working to support us while you climbed the corporate ladder." "That's not fair." "No," I agreed. "It's not."
She sank onto the couch. "Please, Nathan, we can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want." "I don't want to fix this." "Why not?" I looked at her, really looked at her. "Because you called me safe. You told Richard I was your backup plan, that I'd never leave you because I'm too comfortable." Her face went white. "He told you that?" "I told him everything." She buried her face in her hands. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." "I know," I said, "but sorry doesn't fix this." I stood up. "You should go." "This is my house, too." "Not for long." Over the next week, the dominoes started falling. First, Emma hired a lawyer, a bulldog named Greg Hartman, who immediately tried to paint me as controlling and vindictive. Monica shut him down with the evidence, the recording, the photos, the credit card statements showing Emma had spent over $12,000 of marital funds on hotels, dinners, and trips with Richard. Greg tried to argue that the recording was inadmissible. Monica pointed out that Colorado is a one-party consent state. I was legally allowed to record my own phone calls. Greg tried to argue that Emma deserved alimony because she'd supported me early in our marriage. Monica pointed out that I'd been the primary earner for the last 7 years and that Emma had committed adultery. Every angle Greg tried, Monica blocked. Within 2 weeks, he was advising Emma to settle. But I wasn't done, because Richard Castellano still had no idea what was coming. I sat on the recording for 3 weeks, let him think he'd gotten away with it. Then one Friday afternoon, I sent 3 emails. The first went to Richard's wife, Catherine. Subject line, "You deserve to know the truth." Body, "Catherine, I'm sorry to contact you this way.
My name is Nathan Pierce. I'm married to Emma Pierce, who works with your husband. I recently discovered that Richard and Emma have been having an affair for the past 6 months. I've attached a recording of a phone call Richard made to me where he admits to the affair and provides details. I thought you should hear it from someone who understands what you're going through. I'm sorry. I attached the recording and hit send. The second email went to Meridian Tech's HR department. Subject line, formal complaint regarding VP Richard Castellano. Body, to whom it may concern, I'm writing to file a formal complaint against Richard Castellano, VP of Sales. Mr. Castellano has been engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate employee, Emma Pierce. This relationship has involved the use of company resources, including company-sponsored trips and Mr. Castellano's company-provided cabin in Vail. I've attached evidence, including a recorded phone call where Mr. Castellano admits to the affair. I believe this constitutes a violation of your company's ethics policy and creates a hostile work environment. Please investigate. I attach the recording and a summary of the evidence. Hit send. The third email went to the board of directors at Meridian Tech. I'd done my research. Meridian was a publicly traded company. They had a board of 7 directors, all of whom had publicly listed email addresses. Subject line, urgent ethics violation by Richard Castellano. Dear board members, I'm writing to bring to your attention a serious ethics violation by Richard Castellano, VP of Sales. Mr. Castellano has been engaged in an affair with a subordinate employee and has used company resources to facilitate this relationship. I've attached evidence, including a recorded admission. Given Meridian's recent IPO and public profile, I believe this matter requires immediate attention. Sincerely, Nathan Pierce. I attached the recording and hit send. Then I sat back and waited. It didn't take long. By Monday morning, my phone was blowing up. Emma called, I didn't answer. Richard called, I didn't answer. Monica called, I did answer. Nathan, she said, voice tight. What did you do? I sent some emails. To who? Richard's wife, Meridian's HR, their board of directors. Silence. Nathan, that recording is nuclear. I know. You just ended his career. I know. She paused. How do you feel? Honestly, pretty good. She laughed. Okay, well, buckle up, because this is about to get messy. It got messy. By Tuesday, Richard was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. By Wednesday, his wife had filed for divorce. By Friday, Meridian's board announced that Richard Castellano was no longer with the company. No severance, no golden parachute, just gone. The story leaked to the press. Not the recording, just the broad strokes. Meridian Tech VP ousted after affair with subordinate. Richard's name was mud. His wife took the house, the cars, and primary custody of their 3 kids. His reputation in the Denver business community was destroyed, all because of one drunk phone call. Emma tried to salvage her job. She claimed she was the victim, that Richard had pressured her, that she'd felt she couldn't say no. HR didn't buy it. They had the recording. They had the evidence. Emma was asked to resign. She refused. They fired her. The divorce moved quickly after that. With no job and no leverage, Emma had no choice but to settle. She got her car, her retirement account, and that's it. I kept the house, my retirement, and my dignity. The whole thing was finalized in 4 months. 6 months after that drunk phone call, I was sitting on my back porch drinking coffee, watching the sun come up over the Flatirons. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You destroyed my life. I stared at it, knew immediately who it was. Richard. I thought about responding, thought about saying something cutting or clever.
Instead, I just blocked the number. Because the truth was, I didn't destroy his life. He did. I just hit record. People ask me if I regret it, sending those emails, blowing up Richard's career, ending Emma's job. I don't. Not because I'm vindictive, but because they made choices. They chose to lie, to cheat, to use company resources and marital funds to finance an affair. They chose to disrespect me, their spouses, their families. I just chose not to be silent about it. A year later, I'm doing fine. I'm still in Boulder, still writing code,
still drinking bad coffee and wearing hoodies. But I'm lighter now, freer. I started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm open to it. I learned something through all this. You don't have to be loud to be strong. You don't have to be flashy to be powerful. Sometimes the quietest move is the most devastating. Richard thought I was safe, comfortable, weak. He thought wrong. If you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever had someone think they could walk all over you, if you've ever been called safe like it's an insult, this one's for you. Hit subscribe for more stories about the quiet power of knowing when to stay silent and when to hit send. Comment, "I hit record," if this resonates, because the best revenge isn't loud. It's documented.